to get back to Club Corner. Let's go to Richmond and St Kilda as Bob Davis speaks with assistant coach down there at Moorabbin, Jimmy oDay, Tigers coach Paul Sproul.
Well, first of all to you, Paul, I only watched the game on television last Sunday and then I watched you play yesterday. There was an obviously, a better humour in amongst your players, or more endeavour in amongst your players. Could that be due to the return of Jim Jess?
Oh, I'm sure that's had an effect on the feeling around the place, but obviously last Sunday we hit the low spot for the season, and we've had a good hard look at ourselves, everyone in the club this week, and made a few commitments to each other, and there's no doubt there's a lot more caring and feeling for each other yesterday, and that showed through in our game.
Paul, just to go one step further, is it difficult when there is such a popular, great part of the club in conflict with the club? Is it difficult for you as coach?
Oh, Jim...
As a newcomer, I mean, I know your own record with the club was excellent and everything like that, but as a newcomer coach to the club.
Well, it definitely affects the feelings of some of the players that have been there with Jim for a long while, and that was the effect it had. And whilst they say it doesn't affect them on the field, it must have some effect on their performance.
And did you feel that Richardson did the right thing by the club speaking out and giving some truths that are normally kept in the background a little bit?
Oh, well, look, what's been said's been said, and I'm just pleased to say that Jim's back at the club and everything's settled down, and Jim's performance yesterday was very, very pleasing, so let's hope it continues that way.
All right. James, you put in a good first quarter, and every time I've seen St Kilda, they have one crackerjack quarter, don't they? Either they start off very well and then perhaps slide back, or they don't start so well, and then at the finish again you put in another great quarter.
Yeah, it's one of the problems at the moment, Bob, is that to try and put the games together, and this is one of the legacies that you have with regard to trying out a lot of new players and a lot of young players. They just play well in spurts and just can't get the whole 100 minutes together.
Do you have sufficient experienced senior players to have those number of young fellas in?
No, we haven't, of course. Particularly with a player like Trevor Barker out of the side, and we do definitely need more experienced players.
We got a notice yesterday up in the press box that Mark Buckley is coming across. It was also rumoured that Honeybun and perhaps Marku might be included in a swap.
Yeah, well,
do we know anything about that?
Well, there's no swap.
No swap of players, but a Form 4 or something like that.
We're trying to get Mark Buckley. I believe he may be coming over. I'm not totally sure whether he has actually decided to come over or not. And
right.
And also, we're very short of tall players. We've only got Gary Sidebottom. Alan
Sidebottom, yeah,
Alan
that's
Sidebottom,
all right, yeah. And Crow's out for the rest of the season?
Crowie's battling to get back through injury, and we got Darryl Cowie. He's about the only other guys over, and Misso, and we're very, very short of tall players.
Paul, your team worked a lot harder yesterday, and Rioli had a great game, and I thought Francis played very well for you.
Well, I thought their whole backline in particular, they made a commitment to share the ball around, and in fact at times we overdid it and made mistakes by doing it, but the commitment to run and share the ball was there, and that was the reason we sort of lifted our game and moved the ball downfield much better.
You've still got opportunities to make the 5?
Oh, I believe so. It's a fairly tight season, and the teams competing for the 5 are up and down within themselves throughout the season, so I believe we've still got that chance and we'll be working hard towards that.
All right, and for you, Jim, is there a win in sight anywhere?
Oh, yeah, well, we take each week as it comes, and
it's a matter of
it's just a matter of putting it together, and once the win does come, I'm sure that'll really give everybody a real big lift around the club. So
all right, thanks very much, Jim, and thanks very much, Paul.
It's good to see Jimmy in the show too. Welcome to World of Sport, Jim and Paul. You got the patoka, that's the best small goods you can buy. Not forgetting the Valentine's Tasty Cheese and this magnificent magazine, Your Sport. And of course, always everybody's favourite, that's 4 and 20 pies. How about that, fellas?
Right, thank you, gentlemen, and let's check the voting now for the Saints. Morwood, Frawley and Silvio Fascini on a 3-2-1 basis, while for Richmond, Rioli, Francis and Jess. In the progressive for the two sides, Morwood and Sidebottom locked together at Moorabbin, and Trevor Poole, a 1-vote leader over Rioli at Punt Road.